Can you recall a moment during your studies when you did something that at first demanded you to go out of your comfort zone?
I was a little bit lost when I tried to look for an internship. But then, I found BrainsFirst. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a company that does cool stuff. This is something that I would like to do. Then it happened that the project was related to AI development. So that's amazing. This was kind of half of the Lightbulb showing, but then I did the NeurOlympics games, and then I noticed that my brain profile is exactly matching what I do, so the AI development now. And then the whole Lightbulb was just, on.
Amazing. It's halfway through the year and June carries a natural sense of transition. Students are graduating, employees are pausing for their mid-year check-ins, and summer slowdown is just around the corner. It's the perfect moment to evaluate where we're standing, where we're heading, and everything in between. In this episode, we'll explore a few relatable work-life scenarios, and we'll see what psychology and neuroscience can teach us about navigating them. We'll hear from Lars and Maciej, two guys in their 20s who are just at the edge of a big transition, moving from university life into the world of work. Welcome to the NeurOlympics podcast, brought to you by BrainsFirst, the company that helps you make better talent decisions powered by neuroscience. I'm Lucy, I'm the host of the NeurOlympics podcast, and I myself have a background in psychology and applied neuroscience. Lars, you're about to leave university and enter the working world. How are you feeling about this? Are you excited? Are you panicking? Are you freaking out?
No, in general, I'm excited about it. I have to say I'm quite done with the university and stuff. University has been nice, but I should know a little bit. 6 years is quite long. I'm going to have to find a real job. I have to be there all the time. The fun stuff is also gone, right? So I have to say I will miss that a little bit. The freedom that you get from being at the university, it is nice, but I will miss that. But the rest, I'm happy. And finally, money. I'm still a student. I don't have any money anymore, so yeah. But no, yeah. I'm quite excited actually. There are some things that worry me, but not really the working world though. It's more like the things around it. Mm-hmm. So finding a job, it shouldn't be a problem in the current day and age. Mm-hmm. But I kind of want to stay around Amsterdam or in Randstad, which is quite nice, but quite expensive, and the housing is a problem. Yeah, that's for me is like the biggest scare actually, and the biggest thing I'm worried about to go on in my life. I really want to find a house that is a little bit also bigger than what I live in now. I live in a container right now. It's student housing, so it's really small. That's not what you want, but
not for the long term.
Not for the long term. Yeah. For now, it's still okay. Shouldn't say that maybe now, but maybe I can stay a little bit longer than what you normally should do. But no, I really want to leave there and find a new house, but that is a big of a problem. So when I stop with study, I finally have a job, hopefully, but then I need to find a house around that job, and that's quite a big of a scare for me at this moment.
Yeah, that I can totally relate to. I think everyone living in Amsterdam has at least once encountered this issue, but I'm sure something will come up. But good to hear you're excited to leave the university world and try something new. It's exciting.
Yeah, I feel like it's a bit of both, right? Like part of me is like out of the comfort zone. Suddenly I need to find a job, and it's not as simple as it was. Always was one school, second school after school. You just need to have good grades in one, then you go to the another, and then suddenly you have the whole world open, but it's not as simple anymore.
When we're faced with uncertainty, like being put on a high-stakes project without getting any directions or awaiting a response for a job interview, our brain can treat it like a threat. The amygdala, our fear center in the brain, gets activated simply by not knowing what's next. This is a built-in safety mechanism meant to protect us. But here's the thing. In our modern world, events can be quite uncertain, even though they're not dangerous at all. They're just unfamiliar for us. Can you recall a moment during your studies when you did something that at first scared you and kind of demanded you to go out of your comfort zone?
Well, I have to say, right now I'm not used to being on camera, so that is out of my comfort zone. I mean, I need to try things now, but I think, not really out of my comfort zone. But when I started with studies, I just came from I did an extra year at middle school, which was not something I was really happy about. All my friends were already going further. They already were doing the university, and then I just rolled in behind. And then I started the university, and I never learned to learn at middle school, so I started university, and that became quite harder than I expected. So all the practical things were going really fine, but especially the more theoretical parts of the study were quite hard. And then Corona hit, and I was about to fall out of the studies, and that it was really a moment that I was like, oh fuck. I didn't feel comfortable about it. I was like, yeah, what should I do? All my friends were a little bit laughy about it, haha, okay, you're again going to fail. Not that they hoped for it or something, but normally they could say quite a lot to me. And they didn't really see or understand that maybe this was something I wasn't happy about. So then I wasn't feeling comfortable for half a year, I think, with what should I do? Should I go on? I was almost kicked out. But due to Corona, actually, I got lucky. I get sometimes quite lucky in my life, I have to say. I mean, I started study already
Good for you.
Yeah, good for me. No, that's always nice. But I already started at the bottom of the list almost. Just got accepted and then almost failed, and then I got an opportunity to get out again. And I was like, yeah, okay, I almost failed to just apply and then go into the study. How can I finish it? But I'm not really a quitter, so I really wanted to do it. I really like it. I mean, in the end, I succeeded, luckily. Spoiler.
Nice.
Otherwise,
yeah.
I wouldn't have been sitting here. But
Yeah.
no, I struggled a lot with it, I think. And that felt quite uncomfortable. I don't know if that is really out of your comfort zone, but yeah, it's something you don't feel really comfortable with. And that can feel quite buggy for me, actually. But yeah.
Yeah. Was it uncomfortable because of uncertainty if you were gonna make it, or was it uncomfortable because of it was just too challenging?
Well, it was not gonna make it a little bit. It was everything, I think. And then also the influence of, all my other friends were fixing this shit, finishing this shit. And I was still being held up and held down by myself, actually, because I didn't know how to learn, which I eventually, luckily, learned in the third year of the uni. So that is quite late.
Naming the uncomfortable, literally saying I am nervous, can calm the brain down. So-called effect labeling can reduce amygdala activation and already calm the nervous system. So when you're feeling uncomfortable right now, it doesn't necessarily mean you're on the wrong path. It might just mean you are growing and taking on a new, unfamiliar adventures. And if things don't go as planned, for example, you experience rejection or just failure, then how do you handle that? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I feel first of all, things almost never go as planned, right? If someone told me many years ago I'm going to be today in Amsterdam and working in a nice company, taking part in the podcast episode, I would never think that's real.
We also planned it yesterday, so
yeah, exactly. So yeah, overall, when things really not go the way I plan, I probably will get annoyed, as usually people do. I'm trying to get it smaller and smaller, of course, because that's not getting anywhere. Yeah, my plan, like I said, is try to get these things out of the mind as fast as possible and then continue doing things that I can actually affect. The past is the past. I cannot do anything about it, but yeah. True. So if I need to get annoyed, I will get annoyed. That's what the mind wants. That's what the mind wants. But overall, yeah, I will try to do better, yeah.
Yeah. It's also nice that you say it's what the mind wants. I mean, these emotions are just completely valid, and we're allowed to feel them and to accept them. But then, as you said, I think it's important to move on and not get stuck in that feeling, but to see what you can change and how to move on.
Yeah, definitely. Especially that if I start getting annoyed, that I'm getting annoyed, then where are we end, right? Like we can just go in circles.
Our brains are wired to notice when things go wrong. Whenever we mess up, our brain registers a prediction error, a little flag that tells us next time do things differently. So whenever we encounter a similar situation again, that little flag prevents us from easily committing the same mistake again. It's how we learn, and mistakes help us to progress. And it's important how we deal with failure, because research shows that self-compassion rather than self-criticism helps us to bounce back faster. And can you tell us about a breakthrough, a light bulb moment when an idea just clicked, and also like what you were doing in that moment when it clicked?
Yeah, so this is actually quite an interesting story because it's BrainsFirst and NeurOlympics story largely. So yeah, as you know, but maybe the viewers don't, I studied as well as you Brain Cognition Society. I am still studying and finishing now. But during the course, AI development was extreme, right? And what the program prepares you for is to basically speak about science, try to like translate science into something that you can actually use. But then you notice how these LLMs work and they do it extremely well. So suddenly planning a career, let's say in consulting, when I will explain someone what was written in research and what they can do about it, can be pretty much done. Of course, not all of it, but pretty much done in 5 minutes with an LLM. Why would someone pay me for that? So I was a little bit lost when I tried to look for an internship. But then, I found BrainsFirst. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a company that does cool stuff. This is something that I would like to do. I applied and didn't know what the project might be and anything. Then it happened that the project was related to AI development. I started learning about it, started doing it more, and then I noticed, hey, like this is something that actually goes smoothly. I spend this 8 hours in the internship and I don't feel like the time is passing. So that's amazing. And then this was kind of half of the light bulb showing, but then I did the NeurOlympics games, and then I noticed that my brain profile is exactly matching what I do, so the AI development now. And then the whole light bulb was just, on.
Amazing.
And this is the kind of thing, this is the kind of moment I was like, yeah, this is something that I want to go forward, because I have not only my subjective feeling, I also have some sort of data, and I like data, that is kind of proving what I want to do. So
the confirmation is there, like black on white, like on paper.
Exactly, and I love it, right?
That is really nice.
Maybe to go on back to learning a little bit was that of course I went to study advisor, and then I started to learn like that, and at one point for some reason it clicked. It was like, oh yeah, this actually works for once. So that helped. But more recently, I just did my internship, my thesis. People who did thesis probably can relate, but they are quite harsh. Really harsh. You're like...
And when you do your master's, there's 2 of them.
Yeah. So then they are like, here is some thing we want to discover. There you go. And this is not to be annoying or offensive to my... supervisor, but he did some things and he relied on me for EEG, which I also hadn't done for quite a while, and I thought he was good at it, but it turned out he was not at that moment. He's okay right now, but I learned quite a lot about it, and
self-teach, like you taught yourself.
I wouldn't say it like that, because GPT is quite a big friend with things like this, with programming. But now programming was like harsh. And I was like, at one point I was just jamming. And then for some reason, I also work in the Horka, in the facilitating branch. And I was just working in the kitchen. And I always love to cook. So at one point I was just not really thinking about it. And at one point it came up in my head and was like, and then it is there. And then I was like, yes! And then you really want to go home and fix it and not wait like for 5 hours. You still have to work your shift. But
you're like, oh, it's still cooking. It's still not made.
For me, cooking is for me, cooking is like a good way to like get my snipping my bright moments. Also swimming. I love to swim. Playing water polo helps me to clear my mind, which is also really nice to like have your oh yeah moment in, because you're not really doing anything. I think that's the whole thing. You're not really doing anything, and then at one point when you're not really doing anything, you're like, oh yeah, I see it clear now. Because yeah, it's still there somewhere in your back of your mind because you're...
That's nice to hear. It's in these moments when you actually walk away and don't focus on the actual thing that these light bulb moments can come up.
For you, it's the same, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, for me it's the same. For me it's also when I sport or when I just take a walk, you know, or cycling home. That's something I really enjoy in Amsterdam. You don't like go to the tram and like are with your music or listening to music. Sometimes I just cycle home and I let my mind wander, and then your thoughts, they float freely, and then suddenly you have this like, oh my word, now I have the solution or something, you know, that I've been searching for the whole day. The biggest ideas come when we're not trying. Ever notice you're having the best ideas when you're taking a shower or you're going for a walk or you space out on the train? This is not random. It's called mind wandering. When you allow your brain to float freely with its thoughts, so you're not focusing your attention on a specific thing or trying to actively solve something, then your brain can just naturally connect different ideas and memories and thoughts and comes up with these new connections that you experience as a new idea. So creativity and new insights often come from relaxing your focus and not forcing it. So whenever you feel stuck, the smartest thing might be to go on a break, take a walk, or just do something fun, and trust your brain will do its thing behind the scenes. Why did you learn so late to learn, to study, or how to study?
Well, till the 5th class, I think I didn't really have to learn. I also come from like a little town in the Netherlands, in the south, so that also didn't help. Going to the big city, a lot of new things, and so I didn't really have the time to invest in the new learning. So I just kept going with the uni, not because I really liked it, but yeah, I was, it will go through. At one point I will learn it.
Yeah.
Then after 2 years, I found out that it still didn't happen, and maybe I should invest time in it. So at one point I kind of invested some time in it, not enough, and there are like 20,000 ways to study. So I really need to figure out my way. And at one point, luckily, my study advisor in that time, so from psychobiology, she quite helped me, and that was really nice, actually. Good. She gave me good advice, and also, I don't know, I think it helped, and it still helped for like the masters now, so that's really nice. Less of a learning master, more of a practical master, which is also a little bit more into my way of thinking, way of working. That helps, but still you need to learn some things, and you still have to have the discipline. And I'm also quite chaotic, so that's also not always working.
I can relate.
Yeah.
But it's actually nice that you bring this up, because I think it's so crucial to bring this up on this podcast also, that learning is not the same for everyone, and that you just there's things that work better for you than for other people. Yeah. And it's okay to struggle. It's okay to not know what works well, but to figure out, and then to have these role models in your life, these people that help you, that support you. But it's okay to find your way. It's okay to not have it all together from the beginning on.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Yeah, definitely.
No need to rearrange or start a new career.
Oh, probably we will need to at some point, but I would like to be positive and ready then, and have some sort of maybe more objective way to see what can I be naturally good at, what can I actually enjoy learning. Because right now I am very happy, and I can actually say I'm enjoying the learning. I can finish 8 hours and then do some courses in the evening, because this is something I'm like, oh, maybe I can do this cool stuff or this cool stuff. So I wish that that's something that can continue, you know, and this, is amazing.
That's really nice. What is something new you want to learn right at the start of when you start working?
I would like to focus most, especially at the beginning of my career, on developing this maybe more soft skills. So things like I would like to be more confident with how I work in the workspace. I would like to feel less anxious about things that are out of my control. I would like to just see the situations for what it is, not take anything back into account. Just go forward and try to do everything the best I can without having any baggage in the back of my mind. And I feel like if I have this, then any other learning is just going to go so much smoother.
Learning something new, whether it's a skill, a fact, or a new perspective, strengthens existing and forms new neural connections in your brain. And the effect, it helps your brain to stay fresh. It boosts your working memory capacity and your problem-solving skills. And it slows down your cognitive decline. Research shows that engaging in lifelong learning actually lowers the risk of developing dementia or Alzheimer's disease. And learning something new boosts your self-efficacy and your confidence. So if you've been putting off trying something new, challenge your brain today. And have you found a personal practice that helps you reset when you feel stuck?
Yeah, like I said, the swimming for me really helps me with my jamming, especially during like a busy, harsh day, a lot of stressors. Then just going for a swim, going for my training. Also with like a lot of bodies there, of course, it also helps. A lot of input. For me, a lot of input is also important. So like the thing about swimming is, and especially with my water polo, it's amazing. You're swimming for like 20 minutes and that's kind of on your own. Like, yeah, okay, we all do the same swimming exercise, but yeah, you do like 4 lanes and you're just 4 lanes with yourself. You're just focusing on your motion, on swimming, and then you can like get everything out of your head. And then for me also, like when the day was like not that stressful and there was almost nothing to do, that's something for me, I don't like that. I need to have like a lot of impulses around me, because otherwise I will get restless. It sounds really weird. Just how my brain works.
June brings a natural shift. The light changes, the days are stretching out, and there's a subtle invitation for you to pause and reflect. And your brain needs that. Mental fatigue builds up like physical fatigue. And if you don't rest well, then your memory, your focus, and your motivation will dip. Slowing down is one side of the coin, but recharging is also about engaging more in things that lift you up. So doing hobbies like sporting, music, dancing, reading, baking, they're all restorative. They engage your brain's reward system, releasing dopamine, enhancing your mood, and ultimately you'll think more flexibly.
It's also nice to play, for example, my water polo, because then we go into the real sports setting, so the water polo setting, and then you're really like having so many things at once to focus on, and so many input and so many impulses, and I really like that. That's also why when I don't train and I really need to stress off, I just go sit in my room. So there it's quite, I'm alone, it's quiet. But then I open up my laptop to like do put on music, play game. In the meantime, I'm also having my cooking on. Cooking is also good de-stressor, I think. For me,
sure.
I wouldn't recommend for people or for myself to work with others in the kitchen, except for my work, because then like I'm de-stressing when I cook for myself, right? So at the evening for dinner, and then I'm de-stressing, and then I'm like really chaotic and
need the space for yourself.
But yeah, no, when I work in the kitchen, it's all fine. By the way, it's I can be a little bit chaotic, but not really that I am annoyed by others in the kitchen. But
fun.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's cool. I also definitely, for me, it's also sporting to kind of get my mind free and reset. And I'm also getting slowly but surely into the cooking game. I think it's quite nice. I didn't used to like it, but now I'm like, okay, it actually feels good. If you have that moment for it. It seemed more like a stressor for me actually to go like, okay, I still don't like going to the supermarket. Like buying the groceries.
But me neither.
I don't like it. But I always felt like it was an extra duty to cook. But now it does feel like, okay, it's kind of like slowing down and then actually creating something for yourself. And then if it's something healthy, then it's like, I know, okay, I'm feeding something nice to my body, and then it all feels good. So, yeah.
And I mean, you like to create things.
Yeah.
Podcasts, so then creating
As
is
you
really
can
nice.
see. Yeah.
Creating
True.
is always nice, I think, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes you feel accomplished, I think.
That's
Especially
true.
after you cook and you taste it yourself and you're like,
Yeah. You're right.
That's
You're
why
right.
all those people on TikTok and things that when they cook for themselves, they say, yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
And then the moments when you feel a bit tired or you just need a reset, what does rebalancing look like for you?
Yeah, so rebalancing, I would say that usually when I feel tired or overwhelmed is because of the negative emotions just add up towards specific task maybe or specific person. It depends on the situation, but these feelings usually are just temporary. It's not like it's something ingrained. It's just we are in an affect that is keeping us in this negative state. So what I try to do is completely cut myself off from these kind of feelings. So my way of doing it is gaming. I love gaming. For me, especially single player, like deep, like different world gaming, this is something that I really enjoy. I feel like then I can actually go in a completely different world for 2 hours or something, and all of these negative emotions that were kept separate, they go away.
Is that also like, okay, that's interesting to me, because does it also feel like for you, you just don't focus on these emotions, or let's say, I mean, there's a trigger for these emotions, right? On like a certain event, for example, something going not the way you planned or something that annoys you. Do you then just like forget about it, or do you like actively repress it that it doesn't come up, or how does it work?
I feel like I really can
Or are you
focus very
distracted?
well overall.
Yeah.
So if let's say I have a problem that I cannot solve and it's starting to annoy me and I'm trying this way, that way, but at some point I'm overwhelmed because I'm like, how can I solve this issue? And then I can keep focusing on the fact that I cannot solve the issue, and that doesn't lead me anywhere, because of course our productivity is linked to like how free we feel in our heads, and in this kind of situation you just go in circles and circles and circles. When I game or do anything else that I can actually fully focus on, this is a thing that if I focus fully on something, I cannot think about other things, right?
Yeah.
So I just then come back to the task later, and I have kind of a clean slate of like, now I'll try it again, maybe from a different standpoint, and maybe this will work better. So
that's nice.
usually that works.
Yeah, because for once you just completely walked away, and then you have a clear mind and maybe a fresh perspective on it again.
Yeah.
It's the month of June. It's halfway through the year. And if we were to do a little mid-year check-in with yourself, what is something that is going really well at the moment?
Oh, really well. It's always easier to say what's not going well. No, it's really well. Oh, I have to say I'm quite happy now. I just started the internship now. I think I'm happy with that. I finished my thesis. Those are things I'm really happy about. It's more school related, but I think for now this year was really for me like still finishing the masters and fixing, just getting that away from the uni. What I think I'm ready for quite a year now.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy that is going well until now. Happy to be with the company here and
BrainsFirst.
I'm really happy. Otherwise I wouldn't have applied. But I'm happy to just work and learn new things. So that's what I'm happy about. And furthermore, I think in sports I'm a little bit happier that I'm a little bit healthier at this moment. I used to be like quite muscly and quite healthy. Then Corona came and I didn't sport anymore. And I mean, I like to cook and I like beers. So that combination doesn't really work if you don't really sport. I have to say I have a quite okay metabolism, so I'm not getting that fat real quick. But I have to say for my length, 80. At one point it was like 80 kilograms or something. It was a little bit too much. So luckily I numbed that down now, and I'm a little bit more sporty.
Yeah.
But I'm not really there yet. I still need to get there. But
that's good. You see
happy.
the progress. You see the progress. You're on your way.
That's why I'm half of the year. And half of the year,
end of the year.
I'm
we
saying
have that
this, I won't be, but hey, it's fine. Maybe it will work.
Very good. Thanks, Lars.
No
Very
problem.
Good.
Thank you as well.
Yeah.
I got you on this one.
Yeah. No, I feel like I am pretty satisfied with everything that like I'm doing. I feel like I'm growing as a person, so that's something that as a person, as an employee overall, I feel like I'm growing. So it's very hard for me to say something that I would like to change. Of course, not everything is perfect, and I try not to focus on the things that usually are not perfect. So in here, I think I should probably do more sports. Especially that I love doing it, and since I'm in Amsterdam, it became a little bit less because all of the changes, all of different courses, a lot of work. So there's a completely different, I'm put in a completely different situation. But I feel like I would really enjoy if I came back to it more. I feel like body, mind, everything would be more happy if I did some more sports. So probably this would be something that I would love to increase in the next half a year. Yeah.
Nice. And what kind of sports?
Yeah, that actually depends. I always loved swimming. So yeah, that's
Lars in the background is like
that's
happy
amazing.
about this answer.
At some point I used to swim quite a lot, and this was a way for me also to kind of reset, but in a different way. It was more in a way of, instead of focusing completely on something else, it was just going through all the thoughts that are possible. Because if I just swim for an hour non-stop and I'm basically, my mind is doing nothing, all of it is just going in circles, and I can actually observe my own thought process to see, oh, so maybe here is the niche, or maybe this is stressing me out more, and this also used to help. So maybe this is a way to go.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this
Cool.
would be my first pick. Yeah.
All right. Well, then, good luck on picking this up for the second half. I hope this speaking it out here today on the podcast helps to actually do it.
I really hope so.
Yeah. But thank you for all your answers. Was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thanks a lot.
We encourage you to check in with yourself and do a mid-year reset. We hope that this episode helps you to rethink your daily work routines, try or learn something new, dare to step out of your comfort zone, and also allow your mind to wander freely, because that's when all the breakthrough moments will naturally come by themselves. Whether you're finishing school, rethinking your job, or just trying to feel less stuck, remember that growth rarely feels like a big moment. It often comes slowly and quietly, a single decision or a story that you didn't know you needed to hear. We want to hear about your lightbulb moments or your moments of growth, so put them in the comment section, and especially if they scared you a little bit in the beginning. Until then, stay tuned everyone, and please don't forget to subscribe to your favorite platform. Stay happy, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time on the NeurOlympics podcast. Ciao, ciao.